Can you just double check for me on your phone if we're live, please?
I'll go to my YouTube.
Yeah, we're live now. Okay. Hi everyone. We have Gina today. Macina. Is that the way I pronounce it? Gina?
GINA MACINA.
GINA MACINA, right.
Yeah.
So just before we get started, guys, I hope you're all well. Let me just mute something because I'm getting feedback. Excuse me. Right. So yeah, we got breaking news today. Gina called me and she says that we need to get this out there. It's to do with the executive order. So there's two executive orders that I'm looking at. The one you sent me, Gina, which is the let's have a look. Hang on. So there's one that you sent me. Do you want to read that out to me?
Okay, so the one that I sent you was the executive order that was issued on November 12th, 2020, under foreign policy.
Right.
And within the body of the executive order, the effective date of the executive order is today, and it's a boom. This is what we've been waiting for. And we were kind of all asleep at the switch because we were looking over here and we forgot about over there. I get the notifications of all the executive orders, and I completely forgot about this one until I was alerted earlier this morning. And I thought, holy shit, I forgot. So this is a very important one. We've been waiting for this. And once you get the gist of it, you'll understand that the EBS, for those who don't know what that means, emergency broadcast system, will be coming out, and it won't be just for the US, it will be global. Because now with this executive order, it is a global thing. We are all involved in this from what he has compiled in this executive order. Very, very important.
Fantastic. So listen, so do you just want to read the title of that executive order if you do have it in front of you, and just read the first maybe two paragraphs so we can get a gist of what this means?
Yes. So the executive order is titled this: Executive Order on Addressing the Threat from Securities Investments that Finance Communist Chinese Military Companies. Boom. We all know what companies he's referring to, but then it also expands even farther from what you're thinking. It's more than just the media. I mean, China has a lot of investments in the US and Canada, everywhere. And that's why this is going to become a global thing. I'll continue reading what he wrote.
Please.
By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, and he lists it, the National Emergencies Act, and Section 301 of Title III United States Code. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the People's Republic of China is increasingly exploiting United States capital to resource and to enable the development and modernization of its military, intelligence, and other security apparatuses, which continues to allow the PRC to directly threaten the United States homeland and United States forces overseas, including by developing and deploying weapons of mass destruction, advanced conventional weapons, and malicious cyber-enabled actions against the United States and its people. I'm just going to stop there because I believe this is where the Three Gorges Dam ties in. You remember the big thing about the dam, that it has to collapse. It has to collapse. Why? Because they have 24 nuclear reactors down there. And especially for Jazeera, those had to come up because with Jazeera, it's world peace. So that had to collapse. And we were all looking at it for the longest time. But also below the Three Gorges Dam are laboratories experimenting on children and humans. Way under there. It's horrific. And this is believed where the laboratories are that are creating these viruses that they infect the world with.
So also, does that have anything to do with the Foreign Intelligence Executive Order 13848 that was brought in on the 3rd of November? Have you heard about that one?
Yes, of course. That's the executive order that activated Nazira Jazeera.
I
That
believe so. Yeah.
that's the in the body of that executive order. You'll see it states 120 days. Boom. That's when you know that he's referring to Jazeera, because within 120 days, all elected officials must step down and a new election must occur. But what part of that executive order were you referring to, Nick?
Well, I was I think that in that executive order, I was reading it earlier, and it was saying that it would seize assets like travel, property, trade, and freezes finances. Yeah, finances. So so any companies that even helped with China or have interfered outside any foreign interference, which was what you said earlier about mainstream media, it would be brought
Mhm.
down. And
Yes.
you know, are you saying that it could be brought down all today? What's the
Yes.
updates that we have? I mean, feel free
Okay.
to have a look at your screen or
Oh, yes. This is a tough one to memorize, Nick. So yeah, I've got my screen handy. So effective today, let me go to that part.
please, thank you.
This is section 1, beginning 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 11th, 2021. That's today. Any transaction in public traded securities or any securities that are derivative of or are designed to provide investment exposure to such securities of any communist Chinese military company as defined in section 4A of this order by any United States person. And section 2, beginning 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the date that is 60 days after a person is determined to be a communist Chinese military company pursuant to section 4 or of this order, any transaction in publicly traded securities or any securities that are derivative of or are designed to provide investment exposure to such securities of that person by any United States person. Notwithstanding subsection A, section 1 of this section, purchases for value or sales made on or before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 11th, 2021. Okay, so he's talking about November 2021, solely to divest in whole or in part from securities that any United States person held as of 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 11th, 2021 in a communist Chinese military company as defined in section 4 of this order are permitted. So it looks like he's giving a leeway from now until November 11th. Let me go over that part again, because that's kind of confusing. So he's got, it's effective today, but then he's got a November 11th date that is giving people leeway that perhaps if they've made purchases, they have this time span to disperse. Let's see. Notwithstanding subsection of this section, purchases for value or sales made on or before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 11th, 2021.
So are you
Oh,
saying is this a declaration of war? What did
yes.
so
This is a declaration of war, and this is why the EBS that is about to occur will be global now, because this affects all of us. We know that Chinese communist companies are everywhere. A really good one that I'm going to point out,
Mhm.
goodbye Walmart.
Okay.
Okay. And we know that the media, all of the media will be dismantled. And from what I hear, it will be within the next few hours. So CNN, all those will be torn down and dismantled. And this will give the perfect opportunity for the broadcasting system to come in effect. And President Trump will explain exactly what's going on with all of this. So there's a lot of ties. You can imagine the webs and the ties that all countries have with China. And now this is a declaration of war. We've got the 24 nuclear reactors under the Three Gorges Dam. Apparently North Korea is right there beside Trump. So if this ends up being, going into war, apparently it's going to be,
Hmm.
now, how do you say that? Uh, Not missile from God. Oh, there's a term for it. Um, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Apparently, you might want to relate it to the GI Joe movie #2. Apparently, it's going to look something like that. Um, so the main thing is that he has made this effective today. At any time, the media will go down. I mean, we've seen Parler go down already
Yeah.
yesterday. Twitter will go down, all those platforms. We know that they're all run by the
Chinese, the
communist
CCP.
Chinese party. Yeah,
The CCP.
and YouTube as well. And that's why I felt it very imperative for you and I to get on here and ensure that everybody is aware of what's going on, because not everybody will take the time to look at this, and sometimes understanding it is a little difficult too. Now, where can we meet as a whole, as a unit for information to keep updated? And that's going to be, everybody's going to be, scattered and scared because everything's going to go down. I just want to go back a little bit to what I learned when I was first started studying about Jazeera. There's going to be a quantum computer system built in for us. So when this is all back up and running, this is going to be the most beautiful quantum computer system you can imagine. That technology is going to be amazing. It's technology that has been out for years and that has been withheld for us. You can, there's no hacking. Nobody's going to hack your account. I was going to say Facebook account, but that's going to be gone. So if you're on Facebook right now, you might want to get all those personal pictures off and
Hmm.
download them somewhere, because this is it. Today is the date when this is effective. Let me go back and I want to read the paragraph that
Gina,
says that. Yes.
do you think that this is happening because the mainstream media and social media platforms not only have suspended and deplatformed the president, but also because they are failing to report the truth? And now the president has decided that the broadcasting systems need to be taking place.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right.
The lies that are coming out, and the headlines. My father still watches CNN. Don't even get me started. But the headlines are like so deceptive. It's just so crazy. And people need to it's time. People need to know the
But people
truth.
need to realize as well that, this is nothing to worry about. This is what we've been waiting for. It's exciting. It's great. It's good news. The
Yes.
patriots and
Yes.
the white hats, they're in control. Okay, so if you see CNN go down, or you see Facebook go down, or you see YouTube go down, or anything like that, be sure that the white hats are in control, and the emergency broadcast system is going to, inform the public of what's really going on and expose this evidence to the public, because they need to know the truth. And
Yeah.
the swamp is being drained. That's what we've been waiting for years. And
Yes.
it's finally been happening. So we should be celebrating. Okay.
Yes.
And
Get the
so
champagne
I
out.
I think this is good news.
It is great news, and it's not scary. It's just great news, but it's just be aware, and we'll just have to drop some links. I'm on Telegram right now, so seek me on Telegram, and then I'll give you a link for an information group that Aisha created yesterday, and already we must have at least 1,000
Yeah.
to 2,000 on that group, which is great. So we can converse there. You know what? Even if we don't have any new information to post on there, it's just a thing that we need to feel that we're still a unit, and
Hmm.
that we have support, and I think that's really important at this time. What did I mean, this is why they took down, I was part of that 60,000 account purge of Twitter. What better way? You take down the big accounts that expose all the big information. and the other people that don't have time to research, they're scared, they're scurrying, they don't know what to do because
Yeah.
we are kind of their support system. We're their comfort zone of okay, what's going to happen next? People want to know what's going to happen next, type thing. And of course, they knew this. Twitter knew this, and this is all part of war. This is war. This is war. And this executive order is a declaration for war, and be prepared. So there's going to be martial law everywhere. So don't be pissed off that you're locked in.
Gina, when you say there's a war and there's a declaration of war, we're not talking about nuclear war here. What are we talking about? Do you want to be more specific about that?
I don't know. That kind of the North Korea, and of course US, they have the equipment. If it gets to that, um, who knows how much it will escalate with China.
Mm.
I mean, this is do or die for them. So you never know what they're going to do. You really don't know. So I can't say. Nobody's really privy to the military intel, right? All we know is that NK has the equipment and the weapons, and so does the US. And they're fighting this together. I'm sure there's other countries that are going to be allies as well. And I think they're just going to do what it takes to take to China down, and to dismantle what's under that Three Gorges Dam. That is priority. And get rid of that lab, and hopefully I really hope there isn't any children down there, but who knows. And so that's the declaration for this is saying, you know what, your time is up, China. You're not going to be in investing in trying to take anybody over around the world. And we're on to you, and you're
Yeah.
wiped out now.
So
Today is your day.
yeah, we've got a couple of thousand people watching, and I just wanted to say, for those of you who've just come on, this is just an executive order that has supposedly, you're saying, that has come through today, Gina, that's been effective from today. And mainstream media is going to be taken down. They're under that umbrella because obviously they've been controlled by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. So we should be
Yeah.
expecting that in a couple of hours. That's what Gina's saying. So
Yeah, any time now. So the executive order was written on November 12th, but the effective date is today, according to the executive order, beginning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So what they've done from 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to now, obviously it's not for us to know, but it's go time. I just want to mention that a couple of days ago, Mike Pompeo tweeted a very really great calm tweet, and one of the very intelligent anons figured it out. And the tweet went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what that meant was, when his tweets go from an hour apart to a half an hour apart to 15 minutes apart to 5 minutes apart, when it gets down lower, that's it. It's go
mm,
time. The media outlets will probably be taken down, and that's when they're going to take massive action. I connected that dot after I was regurgitating the executive order. It's like, we thought that his tweet, oh, it must be, the EBS is going to come. Well, that's just part of it. This is when everything is going to be dismantled, and the poop is going to hit the fan. So I think everybody should stock up on food. I don't care what part of the world you live in, because this does look like it's going to be a global thing, and EBS will be okay. Again, emergency broadcast system I'm talking about. So this is what's going to happen. And we already have a severe lockdown here in Quebec, where there's martial law from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. And there's a $6,000 fine if you're
mm.
caught out after 8 p.m. And of course, people are barking about it, but little do they know, this is for their safety. There's going to be mass arrests, and all is happening very soon. So get
So,
prepared.
these executive orders, they're in the United States, signed by the president. So when he says that he's, going to take control of any companies that have been colluding or, interfering, foreign interference, does that mean that that would also apply outside of the United States if they were to be brought down? So if they bring down, in the States, would it affect outside the States?
I would say yes. And I'm going to go back to 2017 when he went on that D-class tour, and all leaders of countries capitulated to him, which meant that we are all now under the Constitution of the United States.
Hmm.
So I would say yes. And of course, all countries have Chinese companies investing, in their country. So I would say yes. It can't just be the US. It has to be worldwide, especially with Jazeera, because Jazeera is all of us. It's our
So,
new life.
just to clarify, because more people are coming on, and just wanted to let them know that we're here to tell the executive order has been effective today. For the mainstream media to be brought down. Your travel, property, trade, freeze, finances. Do you just want to repeat the executive order again for those who have just joined in the last 5-10
I will
minutes,
do.
please?
Yeah. Give me a second and I'll bring it up again. Okay. So this executive order under foreign policy was issued on November 12th, 2020. So we're
Hmm.
talking about after the results of the election. Executive order on addressing the threat from securities investments that finance communist Chinese military companies. The title really says it all, right? He's covered it all really in the title, but we'll go on. I don't have anything on my screen. So if anybody has any questions, are they able to comment or ask questions? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they can ask questions, but there's a delay as well. Yeah, I'm just reading now. Yeah. If anyone has questions, just pop your questions in there, and we'll have a look at it, and we'll get it. We'll scrutinize the question and see if we can answer it. There's also 7,000 troops, National Guards or military, in Washington D.C. This should be breaking
Yes.
news on Fox News,
Yeah.
CNN, NBC, and it's not. They're not reporting it. All they're reporting is that you know the narrative to put Trump, the Mr. President, down. The president. So let's continue with that executive order, Gina.
I just want to comment on what you just said, because on my way up to my office, I looked at my father's screen because he still watches CNN, and the banner said Trump has not spoken to Pence since the order of the Insurrection Act. So the world knows, or whoever watches CNN, which is practically all the sleeping liberals, so they know that the Insurrection Act has been invoked. But yeah, there's all kinds of, they're ready. They're ready. All right, I'll continue on and I'll read this
Yeah,
again.
please do.
By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. So there is an operative word right there that we want to keep in mind. International. International is
International, abroad, overseas.
yeah, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the National Emergencies Act, and Section 301 of Title III United States Code. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the People's Republic of China is increasingly exploiting United States capital to resource and to enable and development and modernization of its military. And intelligence and other security apparatuses, which continues to allow the PRC, okay,
Right.
People's Republic of China, to directly threaten the United States homeland and United States forces overseas, including by developing and deploying weapons of mass destruction, advanced conventional weapons, and malicious cyber-enabled actions against the United States and its people. Key to the development of the PRC's military intelligence and other security apparatuses is the country's large, ostensibly private economy. Through the national strategy of military civil fusion, the PRC increases the size of the country's military industrial complex by compelling civilian Chinese companies to support its military and intelligence activities. Those companies, though remaining ostensibly private and civilian, directly support the PRC's military and intelligence and security apparatuses and aid in their development and modernization. So he's putting a stop to all of the companies that are over here that are helping the PRC. At the same time, those companies raise capital by selling securities to United States investors that trade on public exchanges, both here and abroad, lobbying United States index providers and funds to include these securities in market offerings and engaging in other acts to ensure access to United States capital. In that way, the PRC exploits United States investors to finance the development and modernization of its military. So he's putting a stop to us indirectly, advancing their military through investment.
So this is, this is an indication that, he will be the president will be activating the emergency broadcast system. So what do you think, in your opinion, from everything that we've read and researched, may he be, what do you think he may be telling us on the emergency broadcast system? What do you think it may be?
I think that he's going to start off. I mean, obviously, the first thing that people are going to see is that the media is down, and they're going to be freaking and peeking. So I think he's going to first have to explain why and what they were doing behind the scenes, and this is a declaration of war because of their advancement on society throughout the world. So he's putting a stop to that, and I think he's going to meticulously explain how and why, and this has to be done. What this step is necessary for us to advance mankind, the world, and go further, especially Jazara. I don't think he'll mention Jazara because all the sleepers don't know about Jazara, but indirectly, if you listen to the statement, he will refer to it, I'm sure. But this is a necessary step.
So do you think that he would make an announcement himself, or do you think that there may be other things, tapes, files that he may go through and show us?
I think it's going to be General Flynn. That's just my opinion.
Do you know what? You might have a very good point. Yeah. You might have a good point.
Now, the Insurrection Act has been invoked. So that means the military is in complete control. Well, who controls the military right now? General Flynn. So I think it's going to be General Flynn, and I think it's a really good idea that it's General Flynn at this time, because he's the people's general, and he's respected. There's still Trump haters out there, and it might just put fuel to the fire if Trump does the EBS. But that's my opinion. I have my intuition saying it's going to be General Flynn, just based on the military is in control.
Right.
So this is the military saying we're acting on this executive order that's there for us, and boom.
Right. Or Mike Pompeo possibly.
Oh yes. I mean, it could be both of them, right? It could be the two of them side by side, and just adding words here and there and statements, and yeah.
I mean, I'm suspecting that they're going to inform us of all the the election fraud as well, and how they got everything, and they interfered with the elections, Italy, the Vatican, maybe the arrest of the Pope, because mainstream media is not going to show us that. If you go on Google and you put Pope arrested, 18 indictments, it comes up, and I've actually got a screenshot of it, actually. Let me show you this, right?
Oh, the fact checkers are on top of it. Yeah.
Oh, the fact, well, this one actually showed it. I put Pope arrested on 18 counts indictments. And here you go. So it's, they're not hiding it. I don't know if you can see that. There we are.
Okay. So they're not hiding it at all.
Doesn't look
Now,
like it. So I don't know if there's a
oh, I went on
legality.
earlier. Oh, I went on earlier and there was a fact checker saying not true.
Right, right.
But then there was an article that, that said, so yeah, so that's all gonna be come down, and the fact that and that's another thing, Google will be down because they're obviously controlled by China. So
The
this,
CCP, yeah.
yeah, all of this is gonna be down, and this is a good thing. This is what we've been waiting for. Don't be scared. If you want to join me on Telegram and come, to our information group, if you need some support, this is the time that we may need some support just to hold each other up. It might get a little scary and a little dark. I don't know, but this has to be done, and he's doing it, and they're doing it. But yeah, so keep your phones on and make sure that you have that toggle that will not update your apps on your phone. Just turn that off. You don't want the update on your phone going so that you get the EBS. But now I think it's going to be everywhere, though. Now that he's
You,
taken down the media, I think it's going to be everywhere.
I mean, I hope so. I hope it's also going to be the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. I hope they are taken down. They are one of the most corrupt mainstream media that protected Jimmy Savile, who was a pedophile, and waited until he died to expose him. You know,
Oh, he was so evil. Do you know I started researching him and I had to stop because I could not, I couldn't even stomach what he did. Like I could
absolutely.
just read what he did, and they protected him. He worked at the BBC for over 30 years. Imagine.
Absolutely. So, guys, when this emergency broadcast comes on and everything goes down, or we have a blackout or anything like this, just remember Trump is in charge. This is because Trump wants this to happen. So just think, the white hats are in control. This is the time that we've been waiting, and this is the time that we should be celebrating. It's going to
Yeah.
be fantastic. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. This is the last leg of the race, and we're winning. And just a little side note, if you still have that little thing in the back of your mind, well, it sounded like he conceded. No, he did not concede. And I'll tell you why. Because on July the 4th, he signed America out of corporate America and into republic. So the entire election was fraudulent. Just put aside the fact that they cheated. Just put that aside. Doesn't matter. The whole process was fraudulent. The inauguration is going to be fraudulent. So, I mean, he went golfing a couple of days after the election. What does that tell you? He
Hmm.
was not stressed at all because he knows it's not an official thing. I mean, anybody who golfs, I'm an avid golfer. And if you have anything on your mind, the last thing you're going to do is go golfing. He knew. So don't worry about that. We've won. We've got this. And this is just going to be a little bit, we just have to get this part done. And we have to get that, blast those gorges and bring those down, the Three Gorge Dam, because that's the most important. And that, I think that's what North Korea is going to be focused on and helping Trump with.
Do we have
I
any
should say,
other new? Do we have any other news in respect to the executive order and the mainstream media coming down on, through our intels, Gina?
no, I don't. I could direct everyone to the new Charlie Ward video, but they're basically saying what I've been saying. But he might have some outlets so that if you need some support, you can go on to, I think he's got a drcharlieward.com or something. Don't quote me. I can't remember what it is. But other than
You mean
that,
you mean Simon Park? Simon Park?
Simon Park and Charlie Ward, and there's this other girl. I think her name's Danielle, that was on this morning. It would be our morning, probably your afternoon,
Right.
that they were on. Yeah. So you want to check out that video and get their take on it. But this is just all come to light. So it's, more information will evolve. Just remember, keep your eyes on Mike Pompeo's tweets when they become, shorter apart in minutes. We're looking for 5 minutes apart, the tweets, and that's when you know that it's all going down and that the media will be taken down. It is effective today. You can look, if you have a Trump tracker, go on the executive order section, November the 12th, 2020, and you can read it over yourself and, decipher it however, you see fit. That will, help you to understand. But there's so many companies I know in Canada that are owned by China that I know they'll be going down again. Like I said, bye-bye Walmart.
You
I
meant
think.
Gina. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, sorry.
Go
Please
ahead.
carry on. I interrupted.
Oh, just there's something, that was the one thing I need to get clarity on. There's something with General Electric, and I can't remember where they're based, but China was trying to take them over. And that's gonna be stopped. But I don't want to say anything more because I'm not clear on what's going on but I know General Electric has something to do with it. Yeah.
So, you said to watch out for Mike Pompeo's tweets or, and messages. How do we know that they're not going to be taken down or deplatformed? And if they do, where else can we go and find these tweets and announcements? What
That's a
can you suggest?
question, isn't it? I would say that I would say, so the whole idea of his tweets is that it's going to, once it gets to 5 minutes apart, that's when everything's going to be torn down. So Twitter should still be up unless they kick him off of Twitter before that. Then, you might want to see Dan Scavino's. Other than that, this is just a guideline for you to know when it's going to happen. It's not imperative that we look at it. It's just me saying, what, if you really want to know, just keep track of his tweets. And I haven't looked. Now this morning they were 15 minutes apart. And then he went to a half an hour apart, and then he went to an hour apart. And I haven't looked lately, so I don't know if it's been shortened or not. But that's seems to be the indication of when everything's going to happen. So today is the day. It has the date right on the executive order. There's no denying that. This is an executive order that was signed by Trump. Let me just, no, notwithstanding subsection of the section, purchases of value of sales. Yeah, we read that one, but there was another thing about January 11th that I saw that that was a boom to me. That let me see what yeah, beginning 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 11th, 2021, any transaction in publicly traded securities or any securities that are derivative of or are designed to provide investment exposure to such securities of any communist Chinese military company. Boom. That's media.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we know that Chinese, they've got their finger in all the pies because they're the ones that are actually blackmailed the deep state years ago when they hacked into Hillary Clinton's information and emails. And they said, look, we're going to show the world, or you give us a percentage of everything. And that's how they got themselves into Hollywood, into everything.
Yes. Yes. That's, the on January 6th, the way they confirmed Biden, that was totally, people under the thumb of China, of the CCP. It was totally that, you could tell. Well, look at Mitch McConnell. He was saying his speech, and then his handler was right behind him. To make sure that he says the right thing to support Biden and confirm Biden. So yeah, they're totally blackmailed. And these these DS politicians, they're like, rock in a hard place because, okay, so they confirm Biden and ignore Trump, or they confirm Trump and not confirm Biden. Well, either way, they're not going to be too healthy in a few days, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
That's yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not too sure as to whether Pence is one of, and part of the plan, or if he wasn't, because I heard that he didn't betray Trump. He was part of the plan so that he could help expose the state legislators in the Capitol on January the 6th. What do you think about that, Gina?
I've heard that too. But then again, I'm reading, what Lynn Wood is putting out, and
Yeah.
he's saying
He's
traitor.
a deep state traitor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is tough one. Yeah, that we won't know until. I mean, Pence is a murdering pedophile anyway. Let's put aside the fact that he's a traitor. He's got to go down anyway, and it's clear that he conspired to assassinate Trump with Paul Ryan. So either way, he's going down. But that what he did that day, I'm not sure. I always said whatever he did would be white hat control because
Mm.
he has capitulated, and you know what? Let's call a spade a spade. That's not even Pence, right? He's gone. But that's a body double. That's a clone, whatever you want to
Is
call
he a
it.
clone? He's a clone, right? Yeah. He's a clone.
Yeah,
Pence is a clone.
he's been he's been taken out a long time ago. So we just want to know how they manipulated this clone or body double for the sixth type thing. But it'll be interesting when all this comes out for sure. And yeah, so be prepared, you guys. Get your. Oh yes, ATM was going to be down, so get your
ATM.
cash.
So shall we just summarize everything before we end this live? Let's just summarize what we spoke about. So those who have just come on will not have missed what we're here for. So Gina, do you just want to summarize quickly about the executive order again one more time, just very quickly, just before we end this live?
So what I think I'll do is I'll just put it in layman's terms, is that
That's
this
it.
is the time, that the CCP controlled media will be dismantled. Finally, they're lying right now as we speak. They're lying about everything because they have to lie because they are controlled. Their pockets have been lined for years by the CCP. So I mean, the CIA has controlled media since 1950. Even in 1920, media was controlled by Prescott Bush. So and he was part of CIA. So it's finally coming to an end. Finally, since
Finally.
1920.
Yeah.
100 years later, it's 101 years later, it's coming to an end. So that's the meat of it, of what's happening. They're going to be dismantled, and any company that is invested here or any other country China has investments in will be taken down. There will not be any of that any longer because they were trying to take away all the industrial, like anything that was produced in any country, they wanted to control it all. And so that's not going to happen. They wanted to monopolize it. It was really a form of racketeering. It was racketeering. He's taking down the biggest cartel ever
So
with this
so
executive.
according to the executive order, big Chinese companies that have been interfering with the elections and fraud, and anyone who's been participating in the states, anything who's involved, any company assets, financial assets, including mainstream media like CNN, NBC, will be taken down. There's a possible of an emergency broadcast system being aired from the president. We're hearing that this could happen outside of the states as well. This is international. And we just want to let everyone know, be happy because our plan is happening. Trump, the Patriots are in control. This is nothing to worry about, and look forward to Nasara Jasara. There are so many great things happening. And God bless you all. God bless the United States, and God bless the world. Gina, thank you so much. And it was lovely to have you on.
Oh, it was so nice talking to you again, Nick. You know what? We should all go and pop a bottle of champagne.
Absolutely. When I come to Canada or we meet in the States or somewhere, I would definitely consider a glass of Prosecco with you.
Ah, my favorite. All
All
right,
right
bye.
then.
Have a good one.
You
Bye,
too take care.
guys.
Bye bye. Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.